way around. Anytime you have that much turnover and that much change, there's going to be a process of gelling and getting to know one another. And again, just understanding the system and how you play together at a high level. But whether they're veterans or young, the expectation is that you get better throughout the course of the year, regardless. Whether you're a 10-year vet or a young rookie taking his first snap, you go to bed better than when you woke up every day of life. And that's so the expectation, regardless of how old we are, is to get better.
How do you see the safety spot shaping up?
It's wide open. It's JP Pinnock's coming in, Richie Grant, Siegel being a rookie, obviously Jair, Mustafa, and then there's some young guys back there that are fresh with Mahoney and Canteen and Neal. I'm sure I'm going to forget. I'm forgetting somebody, but it is a wide open competition at safety and at both spots.
Robert, there's been, obviously, we'll document with these questions, a lot of changes with this defense, but there's like some expectation maybe from the fan base. So it's going to be fine because Saleh's back. He's going to. I mean, you're just the head coach in New York, so maybe pressure doesn't affect you at all. So, I mean, is there pressure that comes with that, or do you take it as a point of pride that there's that belief in you?
No, for sure. Appreciated, but the coaching profession is constant pressure. If you're asking me about stress and worrying about things I have no control over, I don't. I'm going to, just like every other coach in professional football, we walk through the doors. We're going to give our full attention to the player to do everything we can to put him in the best positions possible. And we trust that that position is going to be pretty damn good. But no, I always feel pressure to, and just like every coach, every player, we feel pressure to produce and to be the best in football and to be at the top of our game. And you hope things fall your way, but as far as trying to make stuff up to make things happen, that's kind of when you get in trouble.
Bosa was saying yesterday that given the youth and the D-line room specifically, he's kind of taking on himself that he has to be more vocal, has to be more leader. It's something that he's constantly thinking about. You were here with him when he was that young guy kind of trying to find, but how important is it to have, in his case it was Defoe and those guys, how important is it to have those guys in that room that can help those, help you operate those guys?
For sure. Anytime, like a guy like Bosa, he doesn't really need to talk. If I'm a young rookie walking into a building and I want to know what it's supposed to look like day in and day out to prepare myself, to prepare my mind, my body, to be one of the best players in football, I just go watch him. Just watch how he prepares, watch how he takes care of his body, watch how he regens, works out, rehabs, whatever he's doing. It is pedal to the metal and he's rolling. He doesn't have to say a word. And for the most part, I see better than I hear anyway. And he's the ultimate leader in that regard. Now, if he knows something, is it good to share? Of course it is. He's super talented and he has unbelievable things that he can share with his teammates, and I think he's done a great job doing that. But as far as being a super vocal guy, he never has to be. He's already vocal. He already speaks louder than most people in this league just by the way he shows up every day and works.
Fred seemed really excited about. Sorry.
Let's give her one. Come on. I'll come back to you. I know, and he's done a great job with it. He's a cool little player, and I'm excited for him to get pads on. I'm trying to, again, with all these rookies and all these new guys, I'm trying to reserve true judgment until we get pads on. It's easy to go in there when you know you're not going to get blown up. But it's been pretty impressive with what he's been able to handle through through OTAs and first couple days here.
Last one, Dave. Sorry if you were asked about this before I came in, but Fred seemed really excited about Pete Winters. But where is he at? I know that you haven't worked with him his first couple of years, but how would you feel that he's progressing?
He's got a cool chance. I know that he's been battling injury, and that's kind of hampered his development a little bit. He's also had to sit behind Dre, and then Devondre came in, and he had to sit behind him because he was nursing an injury. And so, again, just like any young guy, the only way they're going to get better is with reps. And so young guys like D, their growth can get stunted when they're sitting on the bench just watching. There's nothing like doing. And so he had an opportunity the last half of last year to get some reps in, and it just feels like every day he's learning something, again, just through repetition. So knock on wood, hopefully he can continue to stay healthy and absorb every single one of these reps and learn all the nuance that's required to play linebacker. And I think if he does, he's going to be a fun player to watch.
All right. Thank you, guys.
All right. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Just got that same route concept during OTAs. It was like the third play of the game. And I remember that tight end was attached to the core, and I jumped the out instead of doing my jobbing. I had the stick of three. And so I told myself the next time I see that formation, I'm going to make a play. And, yesterday was the play, and I was able to see it and execute on it. Yeah, it means the world. It gives me confidence to go out there and, just give me that mindset that, I'm here to compete just as everybody else is, but just to have him on my side has been amazing.
Is there a danger at all that try to be the guy that has to replace Drake Greenlaw, or just got to be deep winners and go from there?
No, at the end of the day, I think it's more important to play, as who I am and as D winners and, just go out there and do my job, play my style of football. Man, he was a great example of how to play the wheel linebacker. Downhill, fast, can cover. He can do it all, and that's something, that I need to keep implementing in my game and moving forward.
Coach Shanahan said that now is your best opportunity that you've had to kind of get yourself out in front and shine and, get that position. Knowing that, how are you kind of focused on coming into the season? Any different from seasons past, or?
No, not at all. My preparation is still the same. The only thing that's really changed is just my recovery process and, studying more. But other than that, everything's the same mindset, and that's coming in, working hard, giving, every day I got to the most of my ability.
What's the biggest thing you changed in the recovery process? Recovery, up and down, injuries.
Yep.
As a young guy, can you pull you back a little bit?
I think just getting in the room with Elliott, doing, movement stuff, I think that's really huge, and it's not accounted for in most of people's, rehab or recovery process. And I realized, that's a huge part of it. That's what's kind of making me feel good right now.
When you look back at last season, what did you take away from that? I'm sure it was some frustration, maybe the injuries and things like that.
Yeah.
What were things that you gained that could help you?
I think I gained a little bit of game experience, being, one of the oldest guys now in the room, my third year with Jalen and a couple of older guys. But I think it's just giving me experience to go out there and, if I see something, I can play, to the best of my ability.
Two challenges playing having three coordinators in 3 years.
Nothing really. I mean, we've been doing the same thing for 3 years, so I wouldn't say it's anything.
Did any of the leaders coming into this season, mention anything about last year, how it went, how you just have to wash that?
No, nobody's really lived in the past. I think this is a new team. Everyone has the mindset to go get better and prove everybody wrong this year.
What has struck you about Robert Saleh?
Just his tenacity, his intensity, just how he coaches. He's very intense. We're going to do it his way, and it's going to be that way, and there's no confusion. So I love that about him. He's a great coach, and I'm looking forward to working with him.
Drafted at the spot competing for it and its competition in that way. How do you, embrace just that aspect?
Yeah, it's good to have competition. I'm here for Nick if he ever needs any help, learning the wheel position. But like you said, at the end of the day, it's a competition, and I'm very excited for it.
All good? All right. Thanks.
Thank you all.
What's up, everybody? Hey, good. Appreciate you for answering. I left me up here. What's up? What's going on?
Trent, how's your body feeling? How's just health wise?
I feel good. I feel great, actually. Don't feel like a 37-year-old. Not sure what they're supposed to feel like, but I feel like I feel a little younger. I think just over time, you start to understand, like, as males, as we get older, you know, things start to change. And I think you got to pay a little bit more attention to what you put in your body, how you treat your body. But I just think more so than me just being a football player, I think it's just a natural maturation of a human being. It's like when you get older, you can't do the same things you did when you was 22, 21, 24, you know. So in those ways, yes.
Trent, how do you keep it fresh after all these years, like with all pros and Pro Bowls? How do you prepare for the season? Do you focus on certain aspects of the game you want to improve on, or just how's your overall approach?
I mean, my overall approach really is just to just try to be ready physically. Like you said, I played a lot of snaps, so it's probably nothing that's going to surprise me when I get out there on the field, but it's just being ready to consistently do the same thing, play after play for, you know, from now until February, hopefully. So, you know, I try not to put too much pressure on myself. You know, I just try to make sure I'm prepared and I go out there and just play football. I love to compete, so you know, when I'm in that mode, when my cleats on the grass, to me, I feel like, you know, like I'm a rookie, you know, just because of how I approach and how I just love to play, you know.
Trent, compared to last season, obviously you spent some time away during training camp, being back in it, you know, everyone is actually there and participating. Do you feel that there has any difference going into this season, or it doesn't really have an effect at all?
I don't know. I wasn't here last year to see the difference, but it's always good when you can have everybody in attendance. You know, I know for myself, that was my, you know, first time that I played football without a training camp, so that was pretty different for me. But you know, I like training camp. I like the camaraderie you build with your teammates, and you know, it's 90 guys, so you know, you get to know a lot of people, and obviously, and they cut down to 53. Those guys leave, but they become lifetime friends. So, you know, that's, to me, I just feel like that's the thing that you gain the most with having everybody around. You know, obviously everybody got their business decisions to make, but you know, I didn't see how it was last year, but I know this year it feels good. The morale is up, and you know, pleased to see everybody.
To kind of follow up on that with camaraderie that's being built, is there any emphasis on building camaraderie, being that there's so many new faces and so many young guys on the team on both sides?
No, I think it naturally happens. We just spend so much time around each other around this time of the year that it just naturally happens. You see somebody 12 hours a day for 3 weeks straight, you know, you're gonna get to know them pretty well. So no emphasis on it, but it's just the way things work out when you're in the locker room.
What were your first impressions going up against Michael Williams in practice, and then also just reigniting going against Bosa?
Yeah. Kel's a huge dude, man. You know, generally don't see guys that size on the edge. So, I mean, it sucks having a, you know, base block guys with arms, you know, long as your legs. But, I mean, I think he has a chance to be a really good player in this NFL. I think he has a chance to be dominant. He has the best coach in the league pushing him. Get to learn from some of the best guys to learn from, obviously Nick. So I'm happy to see how he turned out. You know, I think he got all the tools to be an all-pro. And obviously going against Nick, I think we feed off each other so much, and he makes me better. You know, I like to feel like I make him better. He keeps me engaged. He keeps me, you know, working on myself, because nobody likes to get embarrassed. You know, he's one of them players that, you know, not in a mean way, but yeah, he would embarrass me if I let him, and that's just him making me better. And so it's always good going against Nick, you know, one of my better friends on the team, but, you know, obviously one of the best players in the league. And, being able to size yourself up against him, especially me going into 16 and, not knowing where that cliff is. When I get to go off against Nick, it kind of give me a good measuring stick.
Does Mike help remind anyone?
Yeah and no. Size-wise, he kind of puts you in the mind of a young DeForest Buckner. But obviously he's a little more slight in the frame, can play the edge, can play outside, inside. So in a sense, he does, but, I think he has his own makeup that kind of makes him different as well. So, like I said, he's an intriguing prospect. Just watching him the first few days, he looks promising. So, just can't wait to see where he end up. Yeah, of course. Me and Michael hung out in Cabo for a little bit. So, just about a month ago. So, yeah, that's me. I like to build a relationship with everybody, not just the O-line, at all positions. Just take advantage, man. I understand that although my career has been pretty long, but I understand that it's not supposed to be. It's a pretty short career to have. And, I just try to take advantage and soak it up and, build relationships that I know will last a lifetime.
You said that this team wants to prove people wrong. Do you feel like after last year, you guys have to reestablish the power that you are?
I don't know. I don't think that's a bad way to think about it. I don't necessarily think about it like that. I just think it's so much turnover in this league. Like, who are we really proving it to? So a lot of the guys we played are last year on different teams, and we play different teams this year. It's really, we got a standard, and the challenge is to uphold the standard. It's not really to prove anybody wrong, but just to get back to playing 49er football, playing it our way and the way that we know how to play, which has been dominant the last few years, and that's just what we got to get back to. I don't think it has anything to do with proving anybody wrong.
How have training camps changed since you first came into the league in terms of how they're
Yeah, there's definitely a huge emphasis on taking care of the players, managing reps, not running them in the ground. Although I did get lucky because I had Mike Shanahan my first few years in the league, and although two-a-days were legal, he didn't believe in two-a-days. So I kind of got lucky with that. So I'm not going to sit up here and gripe like back in my days we would have did, because I didn't have it that hard. But it's definitely a bigger emphasis on just taking care of the players, managing the reps, trying to, obviously everybody's so concerned with injuries and trying to keep players healthy. So I think that's the biggest difference from now and then.
One of the team's big signings was Luke Farrell. What does he bring to the mix?
Say that again?
One of the team's big signings was Luke Farrell. What does he bring to the mix?
I hope he bring, what all our tight ends bring, which is a huge blocking presence and being able to catch the ball and make plays. Obviously we just started, we're on day 2, so haven't seen all that he has to offer, but just from my early initial, the way I look at it, the way I see him, I feel like he's a big guy, can really block. He's going to give us versatility. Obviously running a 2 tight end sets, probably can line up at fullback. That's just what I see at this point. But
Last one, Jeff.
whew. I would give myself a dissertation on technique and you know what I'm saying, just learning how to be consistent, knowing the playbook, something that I didn't even have big emphasis on when I was a rookie. So trust me, I would have a 5-hour-long conversation with myself if I could go back 16 years. But, to answer your question, it's a lot of stuff I would tell myself. One thing in particular, you want to hear football or just life? Yeah, life. Just never get too high, never get too low. Just try to, find the good in all the bad, and when it's good, it can be better. So never getting too high, never getting too low, and just understanding the way that this league works. It's a business, and although you have to create relationships and friends, and for that, but at the end of the day, you can't lose sight that it's a business.
If I may ask two questions.
Of course.
So, like, did you invite him or was it just random? And then, second, like, when you talk about the clip, you know, have you talked to, like, retired players or is there anyone else you can talk to about, like, how do I know when it's close or, you know, what does it feel like when you go off the clip?
Yeah, that's a great question, honestly. To answer your first question, Michael told me he was going to Cabo because he had asked to use my plane, so that's kind of how we. And I was like, you know, I'm actually be out there at the same time, so he came over to the house. We kicked it a few times, so that was kind of how that happened. And as far as talking to retired players about where that cliff comes, I haven't, and I'm not saying that wouldn't be a good idea. I didn't think about it like that because I just figured that, you know, we all have a different path, and my cliff might happen different than somebody else's, or, you know, some people don't never hit a cliff. They just want to retire on top. You know, it just depends. You know, for me, I love to compete so much, and, you know, that I probably don't see myself stopping with effective football left in the tank. But, you know, I just always thought that I would know, like, when I go out there and I don't feel the same, I would be honest with myself just because of, you know, I don't want to tarnish my legacy and what I have done, but, you know, I don't want to be selfish either and make the team worse, you know, by being here. So it's kind of how I look at it. Yeah, asked a lot, yeah. It's probably one of the most frequently asked questions.